Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Second video of the day. Will you believe it or not? Anyways, here we are. I made a post on Twitter about what people wanted to see in the daily recap video, and actually none of the requests got into the video. So I just thought, hey, let me take every single request and make it a video of itself. And what we came up with was some Baltic Dry Index, shipping, tankers, nat gas, um, what's it called? Cannabis, uranium, of course, some tin and wheat. So let's have a look at it. Many people want to have a view on BDI, the Baltic Dry Index, and I have cleaned all the charts more or less. I hope. That's when did it go? Anyways, the Baltic Dry Index. So let's just look at it from the past 3 years. You can see here. This was the COVID lows, right? At around 400 was the low, and then we had this major long run up all the way to the peak at around just below 6k. A major move of 15x or so. Yeah, 15x. So, and what I'm looking at right now in the BDI is the formation that is coming across to me now, and we have to me the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. So I think the low that was made here, the low that was made here at the early of 2023 is the low for a very long time. And the reason is, if we zoom out, you can see the low here. Let's put a horizontal coming across here. Let's make it green for better visuals. So you can see that every time we have came, below 800, very often below 800 is the low. You can see we have the lows here as well, 800, and getting below 600 is insanely low. So if we take that and remove the two, you can see that this one to me is the low. Also, you can connect this one right here, and you have a trend channel going up here for the third touch. Also very bullish with a big bounce. And coming back to this correction here, the 1 to 5 Elliott wave correction, we can paint we can do it like this. We can make the lower squeeze trend line coming here, and we can connect the upper ones. You can take it from the highs, or you can take it from this high to the next high, which is around. Let's maybe do like this. This might be somewhat better, I would say. You can do it both ways. You can also take it from here, and then you can do it like this, right? Maybe that's even better. But anyways, let's keep this one here. So we have the squeeze and we have the breakout. So to me, on the daily, I have used the Heiken Nashi candles because they're better to see on this chart because it's very different otherwise, difficult otherwise, sorry. So to me now we have broken out of this one right here. You can also argue that we have this one right there, yeah. So this one is the major one for me to get above. And as long as we have these small pullbacks just below, very bullish in my view. So what you should be looking for in the Baltic Dry Index to me is this red resistance coming across right here, going all the way. You can actually see it's right here, right? Very pivotable. So if we can get back above 1600 more or less, let's zoom in. So if you can get above the 1600s, right, this cluster here, hopefully this will be some sort of bear flag. If I can find, well, if I can find it right, let's hopefully this will be some sort of like that. That would be insanely bullish, and then we break out, and then I think we have a major upside in the Baltic Dry Index. It will not be a straight line, of course. We will get some breaks out, back test, and so on. But for the next 21, 23, I think for the next until 2025, we could have a major go, at this high up here, if we get all the way somewhere around here. So yeah, both the global shipping ETF. I'll just switch back to the standard candles. To me, also one that I have posted on Twitter. I think this is a boom, for you. There it is. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, and then I think the 5 will go somewhere around here. And why, you might say? The reason is we have this major gap. It's just begging to get filled, this gap here. So yeah, that's how I see it. Then we will, I think, in this area, depending, we can pierce through, of course. We can even go all the way up to where we started to really see the damage, which is right here. We can even go as high as that. I don't think so, but we have to wait and see. So I think we will get some sort of major bounce in this area right here, where we will go into some sort of correction. And then if the uptrend continues, we will make a correction, and then we will slide way back up again. So yeah, that's how I see it on the shipping ETF. So I think we have one last wave here, then correction for maybe a month or two, 3 months maybe, and then we should probably see a higher an explosion to the upside. If we go into a major recession, of course, this will be the high for a very long time because we will break down big time, as we did back in 08. So the dry bulk shipping ETF. Let me zoom out. This is the weekly. As you can see, I have a golden trend line going across all the way over here. Then we had a breakout in the middle of 2021. We had the breakout, the retest, and then we just went skyrocketing right all the way up to this high here. And then came a major correction. And may I show you something which I find very interesting. If you take, the Fibonacci extension tool, you can take the high here to the low, and then all the way up to this high here, right? Let's drag it out. You see we have the high here. You can actually see, this move down into a squeeze right here, coming across. Let's make it the golden. We have a squeeze right here. Is actually the low right here is actually the exact 100% measured move from this formation right here. So to me, if we can stay in this range and get back above the golden trend line, we have tried once, right, but didn't succeed. So if we can get back above, let's call it 10.3, 4, 5, depending on how and where you draw it. If we can get back above these highs right here, then to me, it's insanely bullish, right? I think we have to go straight up to the pivot low here at just below 20, and then we will see what happens there. But that's my target if I were to play this ETF. Um, so yeah, let's see what happens there. Natgas. Oh, let's zoom out. Natgas. Natgas has been in the absolute gutter right ever since it hit $10. It's now at around 2. But to me, also again, I think we have a possible bottom here. It's very difficult for Natgas because it's a wild beast. It's just like silver in the precious miners, the precious metals space. But if you draw a whoopty-doopty, a trend line from this high to this high, actually what you see is, let's make it green for you so we can see the difference. Actually, what you see right now is that the low here made at the start of 23 actually is a major retest of this trend line coming across here. So yeah, and what I have been shouting on Twitter as well in some of the previous daily recaps is that if we can get back above 2.25, which are these right here, then I think we are in for a short term. Maybe it will develop into a longer term bullish trend, but for now, at least to me, this move right here, if it has legs to it, I think we will go all the way up to this one right here, roughly in this area, just below $3, and then we will see what happens. And depending on how strong it is, then we also have this golden trend line coming across here, where these two on the way down actually acted as support, right, all the way down. And then we broke down finally. And I think if we can get some legs to it, I think we can maybe get a retest of this bad boy here, just below 4, and then we can have a look at it at that point. But to me, today's price action in Natgas, insanely bullish short term. Let's see how it develops for the next day or two. But if you can stay above the 2.25 on Natgas, I think we we are in for a 30% run from the breakout. Yeah, 26, 27% at least from these levels right here. Oh, that's gas. Oh, the Tilray bands, the Podex. This is a cannabis stock, and for this we have to go to the log scale because the moves has been so violently. But someone suggested it, and I wanted to have a look at it. So the first things, and maybe the only thing that comes to mind is look where we are. Let's make it red. Sorry, green here. Let's make it green. You can see this was the low back in 20, the March, the COVID crash. And then we had a major move up, right? It's actually, wow, that's actually quite impressive, right? So we had a 2,600% move, and we are right back at these levels again. I think that the sector is hated to say the least, and I think if we were to get a bounce, I think actually right here could be a place if you want to look for an entry. And I think if we go to the regular chart, let's see if that makes any more sense to me. Just trying to see if I can find the squeeze. It's a bit difficult because of this spike right here. Does this make any sense? Let's see. I think I have the bottom trend line here. The upper one can be a bit tricky, but you have the highs here and here, so maybe again, the cannabis stocks are very wild moving. Yeah, this is how I would draw it actually. This makes sense to me. So if we can get a move up here from this trend line coming across, I think actually you can have a big move in the cannabis stocks. On the other hand, oops, excuse me, if we, sorry guys, if we get a flush down to the downside, down from this bullish wedge right here, I think you could be in for a major spill out, major spill out. And what you typically see after a major spill from such a formation is you get a snapback and a false breakdown, right? You get the flush, and then you get the snapback. So I think actually, if you are to invest in the cannabis sector, I think this is a low risk, very high reward entry. And yes, the stock could go to zero, but then again, that's why you don't go all in, right? If you do like a 2% of your bankroll or 1 or 5, depending on how risk tolerant you are, I think this one could be one where you place a few dollars and then just tell yourself that they are gone, and hopefully they will make a big bounce. Yeah. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, it looks fine. Let's remove that one. Just I'm doing this on the fly, guys, so you can see it's new for me as well. So you can see if we can get a similar move, right breaking here, then maybe we can see something major like this one. So yeah, definitely one to watch as well. URA, uranium, my favorite sector of all time. You know that. You can see the big downtrend coming here, and then we went in. This is to me phase one, big downtrend. Then we went in for the basing, stage two, and then we are going now in for the big move number three. And this is the first leg up to me. This correction has been happening for like, what is it, 18 months or so, and it's holding on barely. You can see here, this is the squeeze that we're looking at. The bears would say that we have a shoulder, head, and a shoulder, which is perfectly valid, and the bulls will say it's just a consolidation before we go higher, and maybe we need a third low before we go higher, but it's drawn a bit not the best, but yeah, you get my point. But I still think overall uranium insanely bullish on that sector. If you listen to what is happening all around the world, right? China and so on is building plenty of reactors. And also what I think is you have this major gap down here. And this gap going back to 2011, what do you think that is? That is, of course, the Fukushima incident or accident, whatever. And this is the major gap. To me, that it's just it's begging to get filled, right? All the way up here at 111. So to me, you have major upside still in this sector. The timing could be a bit difficult in the shorter term, but I still think when we get out to into 2026, 27, I think we will be at a lot higher prices than we are right now. You can also see the 200 weekly average, curling, turning here and moving back up here. So we might short term, we might have 20% down, maybe 30, but then within this decade, this should see this gap gets filled and maybe even go to the all-time high here. So yeah, I'm incredibly bullish on uranium, as you know. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that. Quickly, this is a tin stock, which was mentioned, and I'm not invested in tin at all. But if I were to look at this, I just briefly looked at it before I went on. To me, we have a big day today, big gap up. So let's draw in the gap here. Let's make it green for support. So if, as you can see here, the trend is really bullish, major uptrend here, huge dump. And if this were to be the bottom, we can make a fib extension here to here. So if this were to play out, then the measured move would be here just below 2, 1.9 to be exact. So I think we can call this the neckline. So that, and maybe this is the left shoulder, the big head, and then we have the right shoulder. Or it could be a cup and handle, right? Which makes more sense because the left shoulder is it's a tiny, tiny, tiny shoulder compared to the right shoulder. So the symmetry is a bit off. But anywho, this is very bullish. So to me, if you can buy the gap fill, if we get a gap fill down to like 0.9 and you want to get into this stock or this sector, I think it's a very good option to get in at this gap fill here. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. The last one is wheat. Wheat. I did a post as well on Twitter, and this might take a bit longer to explain, but to me, this is the high we have here, right? And we have a high here back in the middle of the 90s. And these are similar to this one to me, and this one and this one. And what you can see is actually also that the moves down afterwards are quite similar to what we see now. So to me, I think we are to go in for a move all the way down. If it were to repeat, actually, this move here is what we need to get through over here. So if this were to repeat, which they often do, you could get a move all the way down to 4,000 roughly. We are currently at 7. If this were to repeat, right, this move right here, and this will then be a major buying opportunity in my book, because then, whoops, let's see what happens afterwards. Yeah, we had a major move up, a big spike, 400% plus, and I think this is like a layer 1, and then we have this layer 2, and then I think if this happens, I think we will go into the next big move, where we will then do similar things, right? Where we will just get the big spike, and then we will just start to do some sort of similar moves maybe. But then we have the tier 1, tier 2, and then the tier 3. So yeah, I think if you can get at around 420-ish, depends on how we can go, then that would be an amazing buying opportunity. Short term, we are squeezing, however. You can see it here, whoop-de-doop-de over there. Let's make it golden because my squeezes are golden, and then you can do like this. So we are seeing a squeeze, right? So if you get a break to the upside, you can get some shorter term bullishness, of course, and it could also be that we don't get the flush down to 400, and this is the low. You have to wait and see. But if you're looking at it short term, to me, this is a squeeze you're looking for. So yeah, that's how I see wheat. So I hope this fulfilled all your expectations, and like and subscribe on Twitter and here on my YouTube channel. I really want to get above 1,000 because that's a big milestone. The 4 numbers, the 4 digits. So please support it and have an awesome day. Cheers.